So John, we're back.
Yeah,
It's been
we
a couple
are
of
back.
weeks.
Yeah, we had a little delay. I don't even remember what the delay was. I've got so many different things going on right now that I don't know which is the thing that's interrupting the thing that interrupted Ruminate. But yeah, it's good to be back.
All I remember is you said, "Can we delay?" and I was very happy about it. So clearly, I had something that needed to be delayed as well.
All right, good. Yeah, life interrupts every now and then, but we are back. I guess you have news for me, don't you?
Well, news is probably it might be hyping up a little bit.
It's a big word. It's a big word for what you've got.
Yeah, I'm back on my not quite Mastodon nonsense, but sort of that general direction again.
Elon has pushed you over the edge.
Yeah, so I mean, I was chatting to somebody the other day, and I sort of said, like, it's quite strange, and I think you've done this a little bit, but loads of us have done it. I say us, like the sort of, the group of us that are always chatting on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
Most of us aren't really tweeting anymore.
No, it's true.
There's a lot of, we're reading stuff and we'll reply to each other, but for the most part, like, I realised sort of the last couple of days that my feed is mostly just, it's companies, and, the odd sort of, just people posting their blog posts.
Right.
Which I could perfectly well get through RSS.
Sure.
I certainly don't need to know, the instant somebody writes something, except you, of course.
Of course. Because you read every word, I'm sure, like most people do.
Of course.
Or should, at least.
Yeah, you know I do, because I love the apps and the phones. No, anyway.
You do. You love all the hot
all.
content over there on MacStories.net. It's got that hot .net domain, too. We got everything going on over there.
Yeah, I mean, you really do. And you are writing good things. I'm only sort of I'm only messing with you.
I know, that's all right.
So I was thinking, I was like, oh, should I set up a Mastodon instance again?
Oh, my gosh.
And I even tried signing up on the big one, the Mastodon.social, but they're having problems right now. Like, everything's delayed by like 2 hours.
Oh, really? Oh, just because because of the influx
because
of
so many people have signed up. Yeah, so even like email resets are taking 3 or 4 hours to come through.
And, but Rob, it's a federated system. Why shouldn't the decentralization of this federated system, be more resilient than that?
Yeah. Do you know what? It should be, except
I'm being facetious, and I shouldn't make fun of it. But everybody thinks decentralization is the cure to all technology problems, and it kind of isn't.
Yeah, in fact, when I was looking this up yesterday or the day before, I did see something interesting that I think it's like the biggest 3 instances account for something like 50% of users.
Wow.
So it does have the same problem. Like, I'm talking to you now, listener. Like, if you're going to sign up for Mastodon, like, find a smaller instance, because otherwise we're just making the same problems that we started with.
Yeah, it's only it's federated in not so much in practice, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah. But I haven't signed up for Mastodon or set up an instance. I have signed up and set up micro.blog.
Oh, I thought you were going to say app. I thought you were going to say app.net. I'm surprised.
That's it. I'm resurrecting app.net. No.
Owned and operated by Robb Knight. You heard it here first, folks. He's bought it. He's taken it private, and he's going to make app.net a thing of the future. 2022, the year of app.net. Robb.net maybe, or app.rob. I don't know what we should call it.
Robb.net, I like that. But it's just me. It's just me tweeting.
It's just you talking to yourself with your iPhone. It's a very lonely place.
The micro.blog, if you
Okay,
I'm sure you're familiar with it.
I am.
Was Manton Reese, I believe, was the guy who, I think it was a few years ago now, because I backed the Kickstarter and actually got an update email a few weeks ago about the ebook that I'd totally forgotten was part of the Kickstarter.
Yes.
But he's been working on other stuff, and micro.blog has got a lot better since I initially tried it. So that, I think, is where I'm going to start posting things.
All right.
So I've sort of got that, and you can actually follow people on Mastodon from there. Because it
interesting.
implements the same, all the open publishing APIs.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So I'm following a bunch of Mastodon people, not Mastodon people, but people from Twitter who've gone back to their Mastodon accounts again. And it has, I can do photos, I can do, categories. There's like a bookshelf thing. And I've basically got rid of my Instagram. I mean, it's still there right now, but I'm going to start posting here for photos as well. Because I realised I wasn't posting on Instagram. I don't think I've posted for about a year and a half.
Yeah, I'm kind of an Instagram hater. I know people like it, but I find it kind of tedious in the way that Facebook is tedious. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's the same sort of thing. People like making their lives look more glamorous than they really are.
Yeah, and I think that was always why I sort of stopped posting.
Yeah.
Because I just can't be bothered. I just want to post a stupid picture of my cat. Or,
right. Not your cat
like,
on the French Riviera. That's what you really need is, make it look a little more glamorous.
Right. Exactly. I just don't have the, Jess has more enthusiasm for taking better photos than I do. If I want a photo of something, I just sort of pick my phone up and go, yeah, that'll do. I can kind of see it.
Quick snap,
if I want it for reference.
Quick snap and you're done. Yeah, no, I hear you. That's interesting. That's interesting that you're going back to there. That's it. You can cross post to Twitter there if you want to, I suppose, if you want to kind of keep one foot in the door at Twitter in any event. But yeah, I have seen a lot of talk of that. What's really interesting about all this is, a lot of people have been doing something similar over the past, I guess it's just really been the last week since it was announced that Elon Musk is buying Twitter. And people might think that I've dropped off of Twitter because I've been so busy. I haven't really posted except for a few articles here and there on Mac Stories. But I have not left or anything like that. I just can't be bothered. And as you said, I mean, my relationship with Twitter has changed a lot. Like, I don't read Twitter nearly as much as I used to. When I have time, I'll go through. I like scrolling through and seeing what's going on. But like in the last week, I haven't hardly done that at all. And when I post for Backstory stuff, I don't even use the Twitter app a lot of the time. So I'm not in that app like I used to be. I don't really have a whole lot of, I don't have any hot takes on Elon Musk and Twitter. Twitter was already kind of broken, and I don't think it's going to get any less broken. It'll probably get more broken, maybe. Or it may just not change much at all. I don't know. The only thing that I find it entertaining to watch only because I feel like Twitter is one of those companies there's always been something weird going on with Twitter. And it's just, this is like very much in character in that sense, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't want to sit here and sort of be like, I disagree with Elon Musk, so I'm leaving Twitter. I mean, I do disagree with pretty much everything he does.
Yeah.
But this was more of a catalyst for me to, I'd had Microblog on my list for a while to sort of go back and look at, because I knew they'd made a lot of updates and changes and things like that. And this was more of the push, because I was seeing, some of my friends from there were, have tweeted and they're like, I'm closing my account down in 2 weeks. Like, DM me if you want, other details to chat and things like that. Like that, whether or not he even buys, Twitter, like maybe it doesn't go through, whatever. Like, I mean, there's a bunch of people that are just leaving, or they're just not going to tweet anymore.
Yeah. I love the irony of announcing on Twitter that you're leaving Twitter. Because it's the best place to let people know that you're.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. I mean, I'm trying to be more involved in the Discords I'm in and then Slacks rather than
I've
sort
spent
of
a lot more
focus
time
on Twitter because, there's much nicer people and everyone, because they're sort of more focused.
Right.
They're more focused groups, and most of the people in there will be sort of a similar mindset, whereas on Twitter it's kind of okay until you get the sort of the reply guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of nonsense.
I had somebody the other day, somebody asked me a question about some of my code or whatever, and they were kind of getting annoyed at me because I didn't really have the enthusiasm to help them that much. Like, I kind of pointed them towards the thing, but I was like, I appreciate that you like a thing I've made, but I don't owe you any of my time. Like, it's...
Yeah. Believe me,
You know,
I've been there.
Right. I mean, I have far less followers than you do. I'm sure you, Federico, and pretty much anybody with a decent amount of followers that speaks or writes sort of on a particular topic is going to get that all the time.
The best is when people ask you questions about something you wrote about, and the answer is like in the first 2 paragraphs, and you're like, buddy, just read not even the whole thing.
Oh, you're supposed to read the articles.
Not just the headlines. Does it do this yet? Well, yeah, it's in paragraph 3. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Like I said, my relationship with Twitter has changed a lot over the years, and I think that this is. I've been, I guess, blissfully ignorant of a lot of what's going on because I just have been too busy to deal with it. It does remind me a little bit of the great exodus from Twitter in 2018 when they pulled all the API support for third-party apps and a whole bunch of people quit. And I do wonder if this is qualitatively different or whether people will be back in 6 months. Because I think most of the people 6 months ago, in 2018 eventually came back. It's hard to know.
Yeah, not to sort of, because everybody knows politics is a great thing to talk about on podcasts, but my bigger concern generally would be that, the kind of things that Elon Musk has said about, his clear misunderstanding of what free speech means, could lead to him essentially sort of reversing a lot of things that I would consider improvements, banning certain people who are being abusive and that kind of thing. And it's kind of fine for me. Nobody abuses me on Twitter, but there are a lot of people affected by those people. And I just don't think it's, if he comes in and he wants to build some sort of, wants to make it a free speech platform, as he calls it, then that could make the service significantly worse, and I would definitely be wanting to not use it at that point.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. I actually don't think that's going to happen, which is why I'm like the whole thing. I'm not concerned about him that much, mainly because I think that he is a shit poster, as they say.
Yeah,
and that you can't really take most of what he says literally or seriously. I don't have a lot of respect for the guy, but I also don't think that he's necessarily going to be effective in the kind of change that he's at least suggested. I don't know. We'll see. I hope I'm right. I'm hoping that it doesn't become that kind of thing, but I can't imagine it's going to get any better either. And it's already got its problems. So,
I imagine he'll probably get bored.
Right. On balance, I don't see it as necessarily getting a lot worse, but I also don't think that service is in a really good spot to begin with. So, and I don't think he's going to make it better. I certainly don't think that. So
definitely not.
Yeah. So it's probably a net, in that sense, it's a neutral to negative, which is a shame, but yeah, we'll see, I guess. Like I said, I'm in a way, I suppose I'm over Twitter in the sense I'm over Twitter as a place to chat with people. Like you said, it's like people don't do that anymore. That happens on Discords. That happens on micro.blog. That happens in just other places. And fortunately, there are places to do that still, which is good. I just feel Twitter's not a great venue for that anymore. It's more news and politics and marketing and I don't know.
Yeah, kind of there's definitely something to people calling it doom scrolling. That's not just a phrase. It's
right. It is. It's very much a thing.
But like I say, I've been sort of digging around on microblog, and what I like about it as well is because everything it's built on open APIs and standards. It's what the interesting part of it is behind the scenes. Like there is an RSS feed that you're generating by making posts, and then the actual UI, the social side of it, is using that RSS feed. So it's not. Right. It's almost, although it is one single service, it is those two components separately. So theoretically, I could post on microblog, but then I could take that RSS feed and feed it into another website or something like that.
Yeah, I think a
you
lot
can
of people
pull
are doing
in.
that. Yeah, I think a lot of people are doing that, making that their blog in a way, right?
Right, exactly. And I can pull in, other feeds as well. So like I've pulled
Sure.
in my RSS feed from my movie and TV blog that I made. So if I watch a movie, those will then they don't get added to the the microblog RSS feed, but they get shown if somebody goes to my profile, so people can sort of see all these different feeds coming in as well. So I'm kind of impressed with it, and I've got I've only been messing around with it a couple of days, and I've already got like a list of things. I'm like, I could build this for it or this, and
Yeah,
here
no, that
comes the
is
side
good.
projects again.
No, that is good because it really is just based on very standard web technologies that anybody can monkey with, which I really like. I mean, that's the service's strength. I mean, that's the core of the idea from the get-go, was to build something like that. And it's always just been a question of whether it would have the sustainability and, I guess, network effects to have I guess a big enough group of people to make it useful as a social service as well as a blogging kind of platform. And I think it kind of has, in the sense that it's proven itself to have the longevity. I mean, it's been around since I think it's either 2017 or 2018. So
yeah, I think it's about end of 2017, something like that.
Yeah, it's been nearly 5 years at this point. So yeah, I think it's kind of got a proven track record, which makes it a good alternative. I mean, of all the things that you could go to, I certainly wouldn't push people in the direction of something like Facebook. I'd be more likely to tell them to go over to micro.blog. So,
oh, absolutely, yeah. And the fact that I can follow people that are on Mastodon is a bonus, because it's like it kind of solves a few different problems all in one for the whatever it is, $5 a month or something.
Does it integrate? Does it integrate with LO though? Remember LO?
Yeah, I do remember LO. No, it doesn't. I'll email somebody about that.
We need to talk to Manton about that. LO, that was in my period of signing up for every service just to make sure I had my username. And I think for a while I think it's still around, because every now and then I think I still get emails saying, update your LO account. Like, I wouldn't even know how to log into it if I could.
Yeah. It's I think a lot of these services, they do kind of stick around, but you're like, I guess people are using it, but you don't really know who they are, because it's nobody we know.
Right. Well, it has been quite a week. You know what Elon Musk has given us is the gift of April technology news. Because one of the reasons we did Automation April at Mac Stories is that this is one of the most notoriously dead months of the technology year, where there's been virtually nothing happening this month other than like the stuff we created for ourselves. I mean, there's not been a lot of news one way or the other until this whole Twitter kerfluffle came up. So yeah, he's given us that something to talk about. Beyond that, we've got video games. We've always got video games, Rob. What are you looking forward to coming out?
God, do you know what even is coming out?
Well,
I mean, I want to get my hands on Lego Star Wars, which we spoke about last time.
yes.
But I checked earlier. I'm 45 hours into Forbidden West, and I think I'm probably about halfway through. So,
wow.
But that's because I like to do all the side quests and stuff, and I end up getting distracted. But go on, tell me what's coming out, because I don't feel like I've not been paying attention.
I am a fan of Tunic, just saying. And I've been playing it in easy mode, where because it's actually a deceptively hard game, but I've been playing it in kind of easy mode, which I'm not going to apologize for, because it's got a lot of cool, difficult, interesting puzzles and exploration you can do, and I really like that. I'm also looking forward to a game that was on the cover of Edge magazine this month, which is The Invincible. And this is some sort of weird, semi-retro looking space exploration game that I don't know much about it, but boy, do I love the artwork. It looks absolutely amazing. Now, there was a teaser trailer quite a while ago for this that I remember seeing, and it looks like it's going to be coming up. Not right away, but later this year, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to getting my Playdate, which Has not shipped yet. I was around orders 6,200 ish, somewhere in there. Last I heard, I think about a week ago, Panic had gotten through the first 1,000 or so. So I think it's going to be a little while yet. But there's that. And then tomorrow there's a game called Not Words coming from Zach Gage, which will be on iOS, Steam, the Mac, the PC. And it's a word puzzle logic game that is a very classic Zach Gage game. I will have a short review on Mac Stories. I watched a Twitch stream that he did with Jack Schlesinger, who is his collaborator on the game, a couple of days ago, where they went into the design of it and the thought behind it. And it's just a really neat game. It's a little bit like doing a crossword puzzle without the hints, or a Sudoku puzzle. A little bit like a combination of those things. And it's just, I don't know. I think all of his games are really thoughtful and interesting and usually new twists on old ideas. And this is very much in that genre. So if you're looking for a good, challenging puzzle game, I think that's worth checking out because it's free and there's a certain number of puzzles. It's also got a little sprinkle of Wordle in there, in that it works a little bit similarly, and there's sharing involved, and there's daily puzzles, and certain amount of the stuff is free, or you can either subscribe for like $5 a year or buy it outright for like $12, and that gives you bonus puzzles, some harder ones. If you really get hooked on it, it's a good way to get additional content for it. So that's those are the three things I'm looking forward to.
Nice. I think I did think of something while you were chatting. I think the only thing I'm really waiting for is it Sifu? The fighting game that came out. I'm waiting for them to do the difficulty settings.
Yes.
Which they've said is coming. They said spring, so I'm guessing it's in the next few months. And once that's out, I will be buying that game.
I just heard about that this morning from Mike Hurley, and somehow this game had escaped my notice. But he was very hyped about it too, and I'm gonna have to check it out. I mean, what I hear that the fighting is just really good in it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of videos that a friend posted, and it, it's one of those games I think that, like, if you get it right, you feel cool, like, and it looks cool.
Yeah.
But it is a difficult game, and they've said they're adding difficulty settings, which for me, I was never going to play it if it was going to be really hard, because it's just not the kind of game I like. But they've said, spring sometime there will be difficulty settings, so that's. Once those are out, because I'm not going to buy something on the promise of something, like I will wait until it's actually out. But once it's out, I'll probably pick that up because it looks like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that does sound cool. I'll have to check it out myself. I've got like an unbelievable backlog between my Pocket Analog, my Analog Pocket. Just the Switch, the Xbox, just a lot of stuff, and I've been busy lately, so it's gonna, it'll be a good gaming summer. I think I'll have plenty of time to, once things calm down, to tackle all that.
Yeah, there's just too many games. That's the problem.
There are. You got to be picky, and I haven't been so picky. I've mostly just been moving from one thing to another and not really getting very deep on any of them, and that I need to stop that. I need to kind of like just drill down on a couple of choice games and go with them. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, that's literally what I'm probably going to do. Once I've edited and posted this, I'm going to go back to Horizon and maybe see if I can progress the story a little bit.
Another 45 hours, and Rob will make it to the next town, the next village.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, sounds good.
Cool. Yeah, and I'll speak to you in a couple of weeks, and I might have finished Horizon by then.
Perfect. I'm expecting an update.
All right, speak to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.